admired leaders. I think as a young boy, I wanted to grow up to be a leader. But I had a serious weakness. That weakness was I had a stutter. I had a stammering tongue. I remember one day, this was in elementary school, one of the drama teachers was walking by. And I was talking to some of my friends, and she said, "You have a good voice." I've always had a heavy voice, even when I was a young boy. And she had heard that I stuttered. She says, "It's a shame." She kept walking by. And I don't know if she meant anything by that, but that stayed with me for years. I was like, man, she wouldn't even talk to me or try to coach me, and that hurt me. Then I came across the most incredible leadership book that I've ever come across. It's often referenced as a spiritual book because it is, but it's a powerful book, and it helped me. It was the first book that came off the printing press. It's still one of the most widely distributed books today. It is none other than the Bible. The Old Testament in the Bible was written in the Hebrew language. In the New Testament, was written in Greek, but as we know, Greek has multiple genres, and it was the actual genre that it was written in was Koine. So you have some Koine Greek, and also in the New Testament you have a little bit of Aramaic. I'm sure if you've all read the Bible, you've heard the phrase, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" In the King James Version, it actually says, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. Then it says, which being interpreted is, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And the reason why I stress the original languages, when you look up those original words, you see the real meaning of that book. And what I realized was this is a powerful leadership book. One of the first books I got into was the book of Exodus, where God had told Moses to go before Pharaoh to let his people go. And Moses said, "I have a stammering tongue." I could relate to that book. And God told him, "Who made your tongue?" That spoke to me immediately. Because what it was saying is, if I've called you to do something, I'm going to equip you, no matter how dysfunctional you may feel. And I felt that as a little kid. And then I got more and more into the Bible, I realized that there is a power of fear, according to what the Bible's put out. Fear, biblically, and I'll prove it to you in a second, fear biblically allows you to maintain a focus, and it allows you to have confidence that's expressed through faith. I have 3 scriptures for you. I know this is blocking, but I'll read it out loud. In Proverbs 1:7, it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge." You know what that fear in the Hebrew translates to? It's a reverence. A reverence, such as, who in here has a little brother or sister that they grew up with, or are still growing up with? You know, you have those times when you want to just knock them out sometimes. But if mom or dad is around, you kind of wait till they're gone. Because you have a reverence for their authority. That's what that's talking about. You're supposed to have a reverence. And I began to have a reverence for the Lord at a very, very, very young age. And through that reverence, things came to my life. What came to my life was a process for becoming a better leader. It's evidenced in these 2 scriptures. Proverbs 14:26 through 27. It says, "In the fear of the Lord." This "in the fear" implies that you already have the mentality that you're going to give God the glory, and no matter what you do. If I'm sitting down to eat, I'm going to say a prayer. If I'm with my kids and they get a blessing, I remind them where it really came from. Yes, I work the hours, but I'm blessed to have a job. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence. That strong confidence is talking about an internal propulsion. The strength that we use on the outward has to start from inward. It says, "And his children shall have a place of refuge." It's okay to be scared. It's just when you're scared, where do you go? In this case, it's telling me if I'm scared, I need to go to my Bible and see what I need to do and do it despite how I feel. Because I'm leaning and have strong confidence in the Almighty. Those steps continue in Hebrews 12:2. It says, "Looking unto Jesus." Remember what I said about focus? This looking is a fixed object. And in this case, it's on Jesus. None of us could actually come up here and, let's say, pull this wall down. Because it's fixed. It's solid. That is supposed to be our focus on the Lord. It says, "The author and finisher of our faith." What does author and finisher imply? It implies he qualifies to let me know what I'm supposed to do without question. And why faith? Faith allows me to believe that what I'm doing is correct. I don't have to question it. It continues. This is the one that gets me the most. Who for the joy that was set before him. When you read about what Jesus went through, there was no joy in it for him. The joy that was set before him was the people he would be able to bless. He did this on our behalf. And let's not talk about a casualty. When you watch some of these shows about Jesus, when he was crucified, they show him being whipped. When you actually study Roman crucifixion, first of all, you were stripped naked. You had on nothing. So it was already an embarrassing act. And then when you got flogged, oh, it wasn't just whips. They took leather whips. Inside of the whips were sharp bones and sharp rock that was tied into it. And those that did the flogging were like athletes. It was an art. Roman law said you could only take 39 stripes. If you went above 40, then you would be held accountable. And guess how they flogged you? They had you tied to a post. They had these rods with the leather, rocks, and stones on it. And when they flung it, they made sure it wrapped around your body. And right when it got to the end of being wrapped around, it yanked it back. And guess what happened with the rocks and the stones, the rocks and the bones? They ripped into your flesh. He was almost literally unrecognizable when he was pinned to the cross. But the joy that was set before him. That gave me strength, folks. It says he endured. I never look at the word endure the same way again when I realize he went through that for me. How powerful is that? At what point, if God would have had me in that place, I would, after the first whip, it's like, I can't do it. I understand what it's all about. I can't do this. Oh, no. He did. Despising the shame. So when we look at the power of fear, when we see it as reverence, and we see it that it requires a focus, and the focus is simply on a greater power. In this case, for me, it's Jesus, and it comes with the confidence. That confidence, as was so eloquently put earlier too by Carla, is the faith. The faith that will get us by. As I mentioned earlier, I was a stutterer, so I was often called Porky Pig. You know, Porky Pig is a good friend of mine. Everybody, when I say three, call me Porky Pig. 1, 2, 3. Porky Pig. That's all, folks.